Where are you guys from?
From St. Louis. All three of us.
All three of us.
Yeah.
St. Louis. For some reason, I thought you were from Chicago, Brandon. I don't know. I guess
I lived in Chicago for a little bit, but St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Little town
Good
called
old
University
St.
City.
Lou.
Good old St. Louis.
Good old Louis.
Yeah.
Good old provincial St.
Old
Louis.
Twin
Yeah.
Tupi.
We all three escaped.
Yes. Gateway to the West. Yes. They're like, that's the courthouse, the old courthouse. And we're like, why is that place famous? The Dred Scott case. Oh, the case where you could go back up north and get your slaves and bring them back down south. That's why it's famous? Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's great. Horrible. Horrifying.
Really proud to be here.
Yeah.
Who's St. Louis in the Bible? Like what did Lewis do? That was so great.
I think it was the patron saint of acid wash. I rock.
He was the first dude to rock the STLB.
Yeah.
He refused
With
to
St.
take
Louis
off
in the
his-
name.
You know what, dude? I love growing up in St. Louis. I will say this. I don't know how you feel about that, but I just feel like it did connect us with like people that we probably would not have met had we grown up out here. Like we were but it did connect. It
true.
did
The
give us
types of people.
Yes, that is also true.
the guy who when we worked at a snack bar at a pool when we were 14 years old. And the guy who brought us the ice was this tall, thin guy. Best name, Keith Longinette.
Fucking great name.
I hope he fucking listens to this. Keith Longinette.
No, he's dead. He's probably dead by now.
He
The Longinette family was brutally massacred.
Oh shit!
By a man with a machete
Ted
who shit in their
Drew's.
pool. Yeah.
Keith Longinette claimed to us that, and there is no proof of this, but we had to just agree with him that he kicked the longest field goal in Missouri State Class 5A high school football history.
And just told us every time he saw
Dropped
us
the
that
ice
that's
off.
what he did.
That to me is like that. I don't think people hold on to shit out here like that. That is just an unbelievable credit and an unbelievable thing.
There's an amazing book by Jonathan Franzen that he wrote before the corrections called The 27th City. I don't know if you read that. It's about St. Louis. It's amazing. Are you just saying that?
Yes.
Okay. It's an incredible book.
It pretty much nails the city in every way, shape, or form. But I actually say I do love that. Did you like growing up there? You probably did.
I liked growing up in U City. I didn't like St. Louis.
Right.
So U City was like
pretty racist.
Yeah, it's pretty racist. But U City was like mostly Jewish, a lot of black families, a lot of multiracial families, tons of culture. It's the city that they recently vandalized. When you see in the national news that they turned over
That cemetery.
Oh, is that St. Louis?
Yeah, our family is buried in that cemetery.
So that part was dope because it was great to grow up with like another culture. But the rest of St. Louis.
I thought you were saying the part that our family was in the cemetery that was vandalized was
That
dope.
part was dope because you guys don't really make the news.
Right?
That part was dope.
I was like, how dope is that shit, right?
Right. There had been a black cemetery, but they used it. They put an airport over it.
Yeah.
It did not make the news like this shit
That's
did,
right,
but still, it was dope that your people.
Thank you.
Got
Thank
kicked
you.
over.
That's, you know,
Get on the map.
Shanatova.
Thanks, man.
It's a very twisted relationship that this country has with. I'm not going to blow your mind with this. With Judaism, with it's like conservatives love the fuck out of Israel.
It's
They
unreal.
can't get enough Israel because they think of it as like a football team. Like we love Israel. We love Israel as like this great, like amazing, like
the Alabama Crimson Tide.
yeah, like
they're
don't
just,
fuck with Israel. And they're and anyone that's like chest puffed up and patriotic is kind of right to think that way, I guess, because
They have
they're
great
like
recruiting.
I mean, they're a fucking like
The colors are great.
but
Blue and the white.
Blue and whiters are
how do
amazing.
those people reconcile their fucking blatant anti-Semitism? I mean, they really
Go ahead, Jay.
don't
You
like,
can talk deeply about this.
how?
I don't know. You just know people close to you.
Yeah, there are people in my family. I'm not going to call them out, but that my family, not Randy's family, that are conservative and because of Israel. And I just want to be like, it's not like if anyone else is there, they're not going to shit on Israel. They might call Israel on some stuff, but they're not going to shit on Israel. Israel's like a good restaurant in like a weird, rough neighborhood, all right? The city's not going to suddenly come in and be like, close this shit down. We need it. It's good. It's like there's a lot of good that comes out of it. So it's a very odd relationship because that happens. I think there's no way. desecration of a Jewish cemetery has not happened even in the Bush administration. I think it's completely because. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail this on something.
And by the way,
No,
Jay,
this is the
Jay
part of
made
the show where we
But
go
no, but
here.
I do think it's because Trump is like, oh, Steve Bannon, come on in, and so now anyone who has like aligned feelings like that, they don't feel like there's going to be any consequences for what they're doing. So now, like more and more Jewish community centers are being threatened. More and more, the cemeteries.
Dude, Steve Bannon scares the fuck out of me. I'll be like about to pick my daughter up from ballet, and I'm standing outside the Jewish Community Center in Silver Lake where she takes ballet, and I'll just be in the parking lot, and like people are picking up their kids, and my wife will call me and be like, "Did you hear what Steve Bannon did?" I'm like, "No, what the fuck did Steve Bannon do?" All right, I'm in the parking lot. I'm like, Paisley, what the fuck did Steve Bannon do, hon? It's like, no, he thinks there's gonna be this is like the fourth revolution, and he wants a fucking civil war, and he wants everyone to fucking kill each other. So I don't know how he's gonna make money.
I'm goddamn terrified, and I'm
He's terrified.
a wasp. I am a goy, whatever you call me. I'm a fucking whatever I am. I'm a blob, a fucking
white. You're just white.
White person. Because every time, I've boiled it down now. I'm focusing on my own emotional reactions.
Yeah.
Like I bought a gun for the 10-day waiting period, and I haven't picked it up yet.
You haven't picked it up yet. So it's still there.
Don't get distracted by that.
So it's like Dylan's Nobel
Don't get
Prize.
But then I left it there. But yesterday I was like, I'm gonna go pick
get
it up.
distracted.
The article I read that made me want to go pick it up was they barred the CNN from the thing.
I know.
For me, it's about First Amendment because I perceive Steve Bannon and that whole plan. I don't know what those guys, the Nazi part of Trump, and there's a huge Nazi part of him. He's descended from fucking
His
shit.
brother in the fucking...
Those guys are the only fortunate thing is that they're not upgrading their playbook. They didn't update it for the internet. It includes. I look at all this First Amendment stuff every time there's talk about laws against protesting. God fucking damn it!
Sorry,
Jesus
sorry.
Christ.
I'm sorry, I didn't put it on silent.
What?
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Please continue.
That ringtone does not match your voice at all. Just really delicate wind chimes.
Didn't he just tell you he has a gun?
He has not picked it up. Dan, what are the other 3 errands you're going to do around the gun pickup?
I don't
just
know.
want to
That's
know.
the thing.
Got to
It's
go to
like-
Trader Joe's. I got to drop off this box at
No,
Box Brothers.
it's hard to go pick up your gun.
Go pick up a gun.
I'm finding out.
You got to
But-
get some porn, too, just to balance that shit out.
I'm using it to measure what I'm feeling and when and what my triggers are, what's going on with me, because we're all finding out, like, okay, we need to take this seriously, how our perspectives are different, how our neurologies are different. For me, every time this First Amendment stuff comes up, particularly this idea of the press as the enemy and all this stuff, I perceive it as those guys, like that's the velociraptors testing the fucking electric cages, because they're just piling up. The zombies piling up against the shopping mall doors in Dawn of the Dead. Like if they could get thicker and push it down, they would. Yeah. They because there's a Nazi playbook and there's a fascist playbook. There's
Get rid of the media.
Playbook. The media. You can't go any further. You cannot continue past.
Well, they'll get rid of the media whether they can or not by saying this is alternative facts. This is not truth, and there are people in
fake news.
There are
They were
people in the country
chanting
believe
it at
it's
those things.
Yes,
the Lugan Press. It's
fake
a fake
news.
news.
Yeah,
Look, it's a
Lugan
direct
Press.
fucking
It's straight out of the Hitler
English
playbook.
translation of fucking Nazi terminology. It's like that's what they do. If in the 30s, it took 6 guys and a pair of boots to go shut down the media. You tipped over a fucking press and you set fire to a building. They're doing the equivalent of that, and that makes me. It's their intent. You know, like when a kid hits you in the nuts as hard as he can with a Nerf bat, and you're like, it's disturbing to you. It's like it's separate from whether or not it hurt. It's like the kid thought that he was gonna fucking hit your nuts as hard as he could with what he thinks is the biggest weapon he has in his hand, and there's an offense there where you go, nephew, cousin, whoever you
son,
are,
yeah.
so the fuck nuts. Like, wait, you don't do that. Those are my nuts, and that's a bat. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter how clownishly ineffective they've been. It's the fact that what they would have when you see their intent, when you look into their dead eyes and see what they would see the future be? Would you see? That's why these policies are important, because like they don't fucking care. Another parent told me that the other day that Trump was on the TV and their like 2-year-old kid pointed and went, Trump. Like with this just sad, like the same way you would, like because he's like Grimace from McDonald Land or the Hamburglar, you know. It's like the kids are learning the mythology. He's not a good guy. No. You don't.
There's just hatred. There's just.
It's 9/11. No, it's not. It's
not by our clock.
We go by a really specific clock here. Anyways, whatever. But I was uplifted. I mean, there is this. It's not a silver lining. It's not like, and I know that 2 years from now, 4 years from now.
What is the silver lining? What is the silver lining?
The silver lining with any crisis is always that, you know, it's like
a forest fire.
It's like the silver lining with a zit getting so fucking gigantic that you can't ignore it. The silver lining is that it's ready to burst. It's when those graveyards got desecrated, you know, one of the things that I saw was a Muslim group saying like, hey, can we get to like, you know, it's the shit coming out into the open, like where the funny, smart, progressive, decent people have nothing to fear in the light, and only the bad people will continue to be more and more recognizable because they will continue to advocate for shadow and darkness. They will continue to say everything should be secret, everything there should be boundaries, there should be borders, there should be all these things, and that could be a really healthy thing for admittedly a side of the political spectrum that in times of peace and prosperity did nothing but someone brought their chihuahua, and that's
hey, just sat on a duck. That's fine. That's good. Wait, you don't think the silver lining is that everyone who voted for Trump, who believed that their life was going to get better, their life, because he doesn't give a shit about them, gets so much worse? And they lose their health care, and they see that there is no way. They lose their money, and they see there's no way out but to commit suicide. That entire electorate dies, and then we lose those fucking people voting in the next election. Booyah!
That's called natural levelers. That's human gerrymandering.
That's right.
We draw a different. Wait, did you see recently? We talked about this on our other podcast that Arnold Schwarzenegger, just in a random tweet, did you see this?
No.
That he was like, it's amazing that like when Congress is less popular than like
herpes
and Nickelback, like he dragged Nickelback.
And Nickelback was like,
whoa, you don't fuck with you fuck with the nickel, you get the back, bitch. And they came back so hard on him, and they tweeted back at him like, leave us out of your stuff, and they went after him, and then he apologized like immediately.
Look, I was going for unity.
Totally, and I was like, wait, I thought you were supposed to be a tough guy. You're a tough Republican.
Yeah, come on, man.
What the fuck, dude?
That was a strange situation because I saw that video and I thought it was a really important primer or alert to the concept of gerrymandering, which we don't talk enough about.
Totally.
But it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know.
I didn't retweet it because it was too. I didn't want to deal with the. I want to feel like some.
Come on, Dad. Let's go motorcycle riding in Malibu.
He was a.
You can retweet some more of my stuff.
Woman groping Republican sellout.
Also, as a Republican, he cut the first people he went after in California were the nurses and the teachers.
Unions. Yeah, he's just another glory hound. So it would have distracted from the message, but it was a good message. Like we need to talk about gerrymandering.
Yeah, I agree, and I love that Nickelback though came back at him. To me, if that was Hoobastank, they just would have retweeted it. They're like, hey, fuck, we're in a tweet. Good for us.
I thought Maria said I should have gone to Hoobastank. God fucking damn it.
Just to hear him say Hoobastank.
Only in the App Store. Only in the App Store. Only in the App Store.
What if Billy Bob and Arnold like just tweeted to each other?
I think it would go a little something like this.
Would you ask Tom Petty what was in the App Store? I would ask him only what's in the App Store.
That would be it.
But it just goes to show, like, remember that video? Do you remember the video after Trump, like, Trump at the prayer breakfast was like, well, and you should pray for Schwarzenegger's ratings. And then, and then Schwarzenegger released this video going like, hey, Donald, how about this? And it was like the swirling things that go through your head are like, well, first of all, okay, so now we're just the WCW or whatever.
Yes.
Like, it's like, are these guys all
with
playing
worse actors?
Like, the only thing missing is Mean Gene Green, like going like this between them. Is that what they want? But then the other thing you go is like, God damn it! Now I love Arnold again because it's like that like charisma and empathy and just faces and heads on screens is what we're so subject to, and that is the whole problem. We gotta get away from that.
He groped at your heartstrings.
He cornered them in an elevator and took a Tic Tac and just went to
now
town.
He's paying for the baby that the two of you made.
That's the thing, though. There's too many. That's all we found. Like we're primates, so we look at each other, and sometimes the different people have different effects on us, and we gotta outgrow that. I'm a writer. I know all about like the need for heroes that we have, but that's a biological impulse. So is taking a shit. We do that in a toilet. When we elect our leaders, we need to like overcome our urges, and our urges are for like barrel-chested leaders who are smarter and more capable than us, and who are John Wayne this and all this stuff. And like the Democrats need to lead the charge, I think, on just being like, this is not a human concept. This is not an individualistic concept. The idea of leading 300 million people. And then by proxy, 8 billion people.
I think Alec Baldwin should be our next person, and he should
that
just
kind of flies in the face of my theory.
Well, I know, and yet it's the only way we can win.
It's the only way to go.
But it's almost like in the wake of our, like the old European countries that do still have, like England. It's like they have the
Although
royal
they
family.
fucked up the Brexit, they really did.
We should have this popularity contest where we have a symbolic leader of this guy's shaking his head. So, you must be British, right?
No, okay.
We already have it. It's the Kardashians.
You seem that concerned that if no one argues with me, we're going to revert to monarchy.
Touch the motherfucker, man.
Yeah,
it's a bad impulse. It's a bad impulse. Like the idea of a monarchy being necessary. It's a
okay, of course, but not a monarchy.
Not a monarchy.
It wouldn't be a necessary monarchy. It would be a symbolic one. The king and the queen
they
they're
don't
not
do
necessary in
anything.
England.
No, they are though. Fuck that.
They satiate an urge people have to go visit a museum and look at a fancy hat and say, "Oh, we're the best."
She's running shit. There is this great, but seriously, there's this great thing where they hide it and they're like, "No, the queen doesn't have any power. She's got a ton of fucking power. Parliament doesn't convene unless she speaks. So don't trip." They're still in some crazy ass Mordor
All right, I want to
shit.
assure you guys, I was not tripping.
Nobody was tripping up here.
Everybody want to say the queen is not complicit, but she's complicit.
By virtue of the fact that we would be adding one, it wouldn't be a powerful office. We would be adding to the office.
That's really what
Totally
we're supposed
adding.
to have already done. We're supposed to let elected representatives and officials do some of the grunt work, and we're supposed to take care of each other. We're in this position now because we keep trying to hire people to take us out of this position in a true American sense, where we're like, I want to send my congressman up there to get you health care. When the reality of the situation is, had we been together, none of this shit would have happened in the first place. It's not Democrats or Republicans. This shit is on us.
That's true.
When did this become like?
Go ahead and applaud.
Yeah.
That's true, but it's also, isn't it like an American tradition and right, the idea that that's fucking grunt work. It's civil service. Like, go represent me on Capitol Hill. I have potatoes to farm.
But they really want to do it.
raise.
When you talk to a congressman, when you talk to a politician, they actually really do give a fuck. Not all of them.
A lot of them
obviously.
do.
But a ton of them are like, hey man, my calling was building neighborhoods. My calling was figuring out a way for you not to have high
So you're
premiums.
saying just that we need to put, like, maybe if each of us put 10% more of our day into the being represented part of representation.
I'm saying you could actually take your power back if you paid attention to what was going on just one block over. Just one block over. Don't have to become an alderman.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to become the mayor of your city. but take the block to the left or take the block to the right. And if everybody on a block did that shit, we'd be way better off than what we needed our elected representatives to do.
That probably is a good time to bring up this thing that we're like. You guys heard of this indivisible thing? We talked about it, I think, last week, maybe. But like, there's this thing online. It's kind of a guidebook for what we're talking. It includes that. The sad thing is that it's sort of taking a lot of pages from the Tea Party's playbook, because it's observing the fact that a small but passionate group of people that were filled with hatred and had their heart in the wrong place still managed political efficacy just by working on a local level. They showed up in droves at town halls and did this shit. So you can tell this indivisible playbook, and if you just Google it, like, there's an audio book that's like an hour long that reads through it in your car. Don't listen to this episode. I give you permission to spend that hour listening to this thing. It just kind of
whoa.
Don't listen to the second hour.
Okay.
But it's like, it basically just says that. I mean, I you know, it's like if there's not 20 people within a certain block radius of you that have started something, start it. And here's how you start it.
We know that's how gentrification worked. Was that people called the cops once they moved to neighborhoods that had crime. People called their friends and had a visible presence in that neighborhood. So we know that it works for real estate prices. Mm-hmm. The same thing would work for each one of us trying to take care of one another.
It works for schools, too. Both of us sent our kids to public schools here, and one of the reasons why the public schools in our neighborhood are good is because the parents are fucking involved. It's that simple. That's it. That's the end of it. Teachers can only do so much. We have the same shitty classrooms and shitty chairs that every other school has in the city, but our parents go out in the community and raise a bunch of fucking money and put it in and be like, we don't want the music teacher one day a week. We got to raise this amount.
Which is classist, but a great role model to begin with.
It is.
They're going to argue that charter, because people say charter schools.
Well, this isn't a charter. This is not charter. This is public.
Okay, it's a wonderful thing that we can all bring the most money to the picnic and then look over at the other side of the park and see motherfuckers starving.
True, but
I'm not knocking that. What we should have been doing was passing legislation so that all California schools got picked the fuck up.
Completely agree. Or tax weed.
And we know that. That's the thing.
People
aren't fucking with this. Fuck a Bannon. Bannon can't fuck you up now, really. The truth is, we kind of let ourselves down. They can't.
Because Bannon could really fuck it up.
Here's the bottom line. You know that churches, maybe you don't, but churches are already coming up with safe houses. Maybe we got to go back to the days of abolition where the Quakers had to hide the slaves, and we got to hide people who have come to this country. I don't say illegal. Maybe that's what we got to do, but goddamn, that's what we're about to do. You asked about the silver lining, and just real quick, the silver lining is that you all know how to
go
fight.
Real slow.
You're getting there. You know how to start this fight. You know how. That's the silver lining. The silver lining is, instead of your $4 intelligentsia, now you go into these motherfucking meetings, kicking $3 down and make some posters and showing up. That's the silver lining. You get to become you now more than you've ever been you before.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the silver lining.
Now, a lot of you are moved by that, and I don't want to pull the wizard's curtain down, but Brandon, now pitch 1980s Manimal.
Let me tell you something about this film.
You
guys said to Hollywood, we want men, but we want animals. But we want to be able to find it. You understand? So don't confuse us with a name.
Don't be tripping.
We want it to be simple.
Yeah.
Manimal.
Boom.
Now,
a man is an animal.
He is just an effective speaker. That does not mean he's not telling the truth.
All of his ideas
he could
are
sell
bullshit.
you anything.
Everything he says
have you had a
ends
chance
in
to
applause
experience
break.
gonorrhea?
No, Brandon.
This is what I'm looking for, Dan. With these, this is all I want.
This is the voice you need.
This is the one.
Why can't Brandon be your voice coach?